Deep beneath Geneva, hidden out of sight, sits an amazing feat of engineering, but also something that could spell trouble, the Large Hadron Collider, LHC. This thing is a genius piece of equipment that lets scientists peek into the world of atoms. It even helped us spot the Higgs boson, that so-called God particle. It was huge news in science. But Brian Cox, that famous physicist, said something kinda scary about a hidden thing at CERN. Now, everyone's wondering, did our curiosity lead us somewhere we shouldn't be? Are we heading toward a future we don't even get? Before we freak out, let's talk about the LHC itself. CERN runs it, and it's a massive 17-mile loop of strong magnets. It's the biggest, baddest particle accelerator we've ever built. It's like a scientific superpower, able to recreate conditions like the universe just started. Scientists use it to check out the really basic stuff in space. But with so much juice, could it cause problems we can't even imagine, maybe even something terrifying? CERN started back in '54 and has become a top research spot, with 23 countries involved and tons of experts. The LHC is its most famous thing, but it's just one of many accelerators and detectors trying to figure out what makes the universe tick. The LHC is basically a race to find the core pieces of what makes stuff exist. It shoots protons super fast, almost light speed, and makes them smash together. This makes energy and conditions close to when the universe was born. The heat is crazy, millions of times hotter than the sun. Special magnets keep the particles on track, and supercool systems keep things colder than space. The LHC uses a bunch of magnets to steer and focus the proton beams right before they crash. CERN's got a wild mission: make particles collide with such accuracy that it's like hitting two needles 6 miles apart. The tech is insane. The collider is built underground with rings that protect from radiation. To work its best, it's chilled way down, colder than space. Underground, there are 4 different particle detectors: ATLAS, CMS, ALICE, and LHCb, each looking at different parts of particle physics. These detectors have massive cameras that snap pictures of the particle hits. Experts are always looking at the data, trying to find evidence of the Higgs boson. The Higgs boson is thought to be key to getting how the universe is put together, giving us clues about its structure. In a lot of ways, learning about the tiny stuff helps us figure out the big stuff. It's like a giant puzzle. But each piece we put in place brings up questions. The LHC isn't just a tool, it shows how ambitious we are, how we want to move forward, and how badly we want to understand the forces that make our universe. But as we poke around in the unknown, we have to think about the tough and scary questions that come with it. What if we mess something up? Could our desire for knowledge get us into trouble? Recently, something weird happened. Brian Cox, who used to work at CERN and is big in particle physics, said something that freaked people out. He said that the LHC's job of making a mini Big Bang, recreating the actual start of the universe, could have bad results we didn't see coming. The collider's ability to study the Higgs boson and dark matter, which makes up a lot of the universe, could show us hidden things. Finding the universe's biggest secrets sounds exciting, but it's also risky. The LHC makes crazy conditions we've never seen before. It's like we're looking right into the moment the universe started. But with that comes huge accountability. Think about what happened to that Russian scientist, Anatoly Borsky, back in '78. He was doing research when a proton beam shot through his head. He was hurt, but he lived. It just goes to show how risky these particle accelerators can be. You can't take their power lightly. Some folks are worried about the LHC making black holes, even tiny ones. Black holes are spots in space with so much gravity that nothing gets out. Some scientists are afraid the LHC could make a mini black hole that could eat up the Earth. CERN says any black holes would disappear fast and aren't a danger, but it still makes people nervous. The whole black hole idea has been debated and makes people more aware of the dangers of these experiments. To understand how the LHC could make a black hole, you have to get how it works. When protons go super fast and crash, they make so much energy that it messes with space and time. It's like jumping on a trampoline and making it bend. This raises a scary question: could this bending lead to a black hole? In quantum physics, where the universe is weird, there's a thought that unknown parts of our world could be hidden in space. If that's true, the LHC could hit them, making a gravity problem that could form a black hole. Even Stephen Hawking talked about this. He said the LHC could be risky, especially if the Higgs boson acts weird at high energy. That could cause a vacuum decay, which could wipe out Earth and the universe. Another scientist, Martin Rees, said CERN's experiments could cause something like this. It's not super likely, but it would be a disaster. CERN is aware of these dangers and has lots of plans to stay safe. But science means there's always a bit of risk, like when you're exploring new places. Trying to learn new stuff always has some risk, but that's how we move forward. The LHC shows how curious we are, but we can't ignore the danger. The odds of something bad happening are low, but the results could be crazy. Scientists, leaders, and everyone should talk openly about what's right and wrong when it comes to these tests. So, the Large Hadron Collider at CERN is a huge deal. It's a big achievement and can teach us about the universe. But with great power comes big responsibility. As we work to learn the secrets of space, we have to make sure we don't screw up our own safety. The LHC is cool, but it reminds us to think about the ethics of messing with the unknown. As we go further in science, the LHC shows how much we want to get how the universe works. The whole project is wild, with over 10,000 folks from all over the world working together. The amount of data the LHC makes is mind-blowing. Experiments make so much data that we need tech just to store and process it all. The stuff we learn from the LHC goes beyond just atoms. It helps with medicine, materials, and even the environment. Studying the Higgs boson could change everything we think we know about the universe. This particle is important for giving mass to other particles. Without it, the universe would be different. But scientists want to get how the particle acts in crazy situations. This could help us make new materials and get the forces that run the universe. Another big thing the LHC does is explore dark matter. Dark matter is invisible and makes up a lot of the universe. Scientists haven't found it yet, but the LHC is trying to spot particles that might be dark matter. If we find dark matter, it could change how we see the universe, and show us hidden parts of space. The LHC is also looking at other stuff like supersymmetry and extra dimensions. Supersymmetry says there's a link between two types of particles. If we find superpartners, it could open up a whole new way of understanding the forces of nature. The LHC also helps with quantum computing. By studying particles, scientists can learn how to make computers that are way faster than what we have now. These computers could fix problems we can't even touch today. The tech made for the LHC has already helped quantum computing. While it has upsides, the LHC also makes us think about the future of humans. Finding the unknown is great, but we have to think about the results we didn't plan for. The tech that runs the LHC could be used to hurt people, like for making weapons or doing things we can't control. The talks about what's right and wrong with the LHC aren't just about the chance of bad stuff like black holes. It also includes how the research is used. How do we make sure this knowledge is used well and we don't accidentally cause harm? We need to be aware between moving forward in science and being responsible. The LHC is global, so countries need to work together. Being open, responsible, and working together will make sure the stuff we learn helps everyone, not just causes problems. CERN's work with the LHC reminds us that we have to think about the effects of science. Another thing is the chance of hurting the environment. The LHC is safe, but it uses a ton of energy. We need to think about how particle accelerators can affect resources and ecosystems. The LHC uses a lot of power, and even though they're trying to use green energy, we need to think about how to make science sustainable. To move forward, we need to balance things carefully. The LHC shows how we want to explore and learn, but we always need to think about ethics and responsibility. We can't ignore the risks, but the rewards could change how we see the universe. As we go on this, we need to make sure science is done safely, responsibly, and for the good of future. In short, the Large Hadron Collider is more than just a science tool. It's a symbol of how we want to find and figure out how things exist. The questions the LHC brings are deep and important, but it also shows that we can work together to find secrets and change the course of things. As we discover new stuff, we have to be careful, responsible, and that we use what we learn in an ethical way. In the end, we need to make sure that our understanding is always for the good of the future. Okay, so there's this huge machine near Geneva, called the Large Hadron Collider, LHC. It's a crazy piece of tech that lets scientists peek into the tiniest parts of the universe. They even found the Higgs boson with it, which some people call the God particle. But here's the thing, physicist Brian Cox said that some hidden stuff at CERN, where the LHC is, could be risky. Makes you wonder if we're going down a bad road with all this science. First off, the LHC is massive, a 17-mile ring of magnets. It's the biggest particle accelerator ever, able to mimic the conditions right after the Big Bang. Scientists can study the basic stuff of the universe, but could this power cause problems we can't even guess? CERN started in '54 and has tons of countries working together. The LHC is just one part of what they do. It smashes protons together at almost light speed, making crazy heat like the early universe. Special magnets keep everything on track, and supercold systems keep things chill. The LHC has different magnets to steer and focus these proton beams. CERN's goal is to smash these particles together with insane accuracy. All this happens underground, shielded from radiation. The whole thing is colder than space. Detectors like ATLAS, CMS, ALICE, and LHCb watch these collisions. They're looking for the Higgs boson, which might explain how the universe is put together. It's like solving a giant puzzle, but each piece brings new questions. The LHC is about ambition and trying to figure out how everything works. But we gotta ask, could we be messing with things we don't understand? Cox said that trying to recreate a tiny Big Bang could have nasty results. Studying the Higgs boson and dark matter is cool, but risky. We're making crazy conditions like at the start of the universe. Remember Anatoly Borsky? Back in '78, he got hit by a proton beam and survived. It shows how dangerous these accelerators can be. Some people worry that the LHC could make tiny black holes that eat the Earth. CERN says they'd disappear fast, but it's still scary. Creating black holes with particle collisions is a hot topic. The LHC smashes protons so hard it warps spacetime. This raises the question about black holes. Quantum physics is weird, and some theories say there's stuff hidden in space itself. If this is real, the LHC could accidentally make a gravitational thingy that forms a black hole. Even Stephen Hawking warned about this. If the Higgs boson acts up at high energy, it could cause a vacuum decay, wiping out Earth and the universe. Sir Martin Ree also mentioned that CERN experiments might cause a vacuum instability, which messes up spacetime. CERN knows the risks and has safety plans. But science always has unknowns. Pushing boundaries is how we progress, but we can't ignore the dangers. Even if the chances are low, the results could be huge. Scientists, politicians, and everyone should talk about the ethics of these experiments. Basically, the LHC is a huge achievement, but we have to be careful and responsible. It shows how much we want to know, but also how much we need to think about what we're doing. It's amazing and scary all at once. The LHC is an insane project. It takes over 10,000 people to run. The data is massive and needs super-fast computers to handle it. This research helps a lot of fields, like medicine and materials science. The Higgs boson could change everything. Understanding the Higgs may affect new materials and the forces controlling the universe. The LHC also explores dark matter. It makes up a lot of the universe. The LHC might find the particles that create dark matter. This could uncover hidden dimensions in spacetime and change physics. The LHC looks into weird stuff like supersymmetry and extra dimensions. Supersymmetry talks about bosons and fermions and predicts superpartners. Also, the LHC helps with quantum computing. The way subatomic particles work could change how we process info. Tech from the LHC already helps quantum computing, which could lead to big changes in the future. Even with these advantages, the LHC has challenges. The tech that drives the LHC might also be used for harm, such as weapons. We need to use this wisely. The LHC's global reach needs countries to work together with transparency, making sure that the rewards benefit everyone. CERN's work shows that science needs to think about the big picture. The LHC needs a lot of energy, which impacts the environment. We should use more renewable energy and be sustainable. In short, the LHC mixes curiosity with being responsible. Risks exist, but the returns might be incredible. We must focus on science that's safe and good for the future. In conclusion, the LHC is about digging into this and thinking about existence. It demonstrates how people solve problems. By working together, people may alter how things will be from now on. While anticipating such discoveries, people must be ready for the dangers and stay committed to the correct code of conduct. By the end of it all, discovering requires being responsible in order to protect coming times.